Following Sean Strickland's pathetic and embarrassing performance last weekend against Dricus du Plessis, the absolute Chad, South African, um, Sean Strickland's coach not only expressed his disappointment in Sean and his performance, but his doubts about Sean Strickland's future as a whole in his MMA career. And I mean, it's just crazy because when Eric Nicksick says this about you, you know there's something wrong. You know you're doing something wrong. And I mean, with that performance, Strickland made Nicksick look like an incompetent coach, which isn't fair to say because Nicksick is literally one of the best minds in the game, one of the best coaches in the fight game. He literally played part in the evolution of Francis Ngannou, led to him winning a world title, even with Sean Strickland. He guided him to victory against Israel Adesanya to become the champion. Although how much stock can we put in that win now, knowing how far Israel Adesanya's fallen off? That win did not age well whatsoever. But this is what Nicksick had to say. He said, I think Sean Strickland needs to evaluate what he wants to do in the sport. If it's just to make money, then that's great. I want to coach world champions. My motivations are different. Damn. Just to kind of show up and do that and not really back it up, to me, was just uninspiring. Wow. Damn. Strickland's coach really went off, man. I mean, these are harsh words, but these couldn't be any more true. What Nicksick said. Because, I mean, Sean Strickland, he talks a big game, but he doesn't back it up. He never fights the way he talks. And whenever he fights someone who has a power advantage, who's more man than him, who's more of a Chad than him, like Dricus du Plessis, when he fights an alpha like that, he kind of fights scared. Not kind of, he really fights scared. He doesn't fight to the death. He'll talk about fighting to the death, like, I'm gonna go to war for you fucking guys. But when he's in there, what does he do? Jab, jab, teep, lean his head back, do that like Floyd Mayweather type defense shoulder roll. That's all he does. Literally all he does. He doesn't fight like an actual beast or dog unless he's fighting an influencer in the gym, you know? I forgot whatever influencer that was that he beat up in February last year. Like, that's when Strickland will really turn up. But when he fights someone who he knows has a chance to knock him the fuck out, that's how he fights. So I get what Nicksick is talking about. I get what he's on about. And look, Eric Nicksick tried his absolute best with Sean Strickland. But Sean Strickland is as stubborn as they come. And he was just giving Nicksick a hard time during that entire fight. Like, Nicksick was telling him what he needed to do to win, what adjustments he needed to make mid-fight. And Strickland was just so reluctant. So now it almost seems like Nicksick and Strickland might have a bit of a fallout here. Like Nicksick is literally contemplating giving up on Strickland and not wanting to coach him anymore because he wants to coach world champions or guys who are serious about winning world titles or defending their belts. And clearly with that performance, it didn't seem like Strickland cared or wanted it as much as Dricus did, despite spending a whole year and a half complaining, whining, bitching, moaning about how he got robbed by the liberal judges and only lost because of a cut, begging DDP for a rematch to the point where he leapfrogged Khamzat Chimaev of his deserved title shot so he could get his unwarranted rematch just to perform like that, just to shit the bed. So I get why Nicksick is frustrated, so are the fans. And yeah, I mean, Strickland is just an absolute burden to deal with for all these MMA fans because, again, he talks a big game. He talks like he's a Justin Gaethje, Yuri Prohaska type of fighter, but he's just not that guy. I mean, when he fought Paulo Costa, he talked a big game, and what did he do? He played patty cake for 5 rounds. He pitter-pattered him for 5 rounds. He could have done more against Costa, and I mean, he clearly beat him. It shouldn't have been a split decision, but he could have done way more damage. He could have really put on like a statement kind of performance where it's like, yeah, I deserve a title shot. He could have done that. but he had a boring performance where he put the fans to sleep. Somehow that was enough to put him back in there with DDP, when what he should have had to do was take the longer road, beat Costa, actually take Whitaker's call. I don't know if Whitaker called him out, but fans were saying that that fight should happen. I think they offered it to him. He turned it down. He should have had to go through Whitaker right after to really solidify his number one contender spot. But he refused. He stayed entitled. He didn't do enough to earn another title shot, but he got one anyway, and this is how he performed. And he let his coach down. So I wonder how Strickland's going to react hearing this, hearing Nicksick say this. Strickland can hear this, and I mean, he's got a choice with what he wants to do with this information. Either get his shit together and be like, you know what, coach, I'm sorry, I let you down. I'm going to do my absolute hardest in my next fight, and I'm serious about becoming champ again. Or he can be like, all right, fuck you, whatever, and then they can just go their separate ways. And then Sean Strickland can just continue to plateau, which sadly, he strikes me as the type of guy to take the latter option I just mentioned. He might be too stubborn to care about what Nicksick had to say, and he might not improve going forward. He peaked when he hit the lottery against an old Israel Adesanya. He got what he wanted out of that fight, winning the title, and it just doesn't seem like he cares. And I mean, the Izzy fight was literally the only fight where he actually fought the way he talks. And then also Abbas Magomedov, but Abbas Magomedov literally gassed out, beating the shit out of Strickland in the first round and has no 5-round experience. If Abbas had any level of cardio, he beat Sean Strickland relatively easily. And I mean, even Nasruddin Imavov, he beat Imavov and actually fought pretty exciting, but I don't know, man. I think Imavov on a full camp in his natural weight class, preparing for Strickland and not Kelvin Gastelum, might actually have a chance of beating Strickland if they go again. So, yeah, I just think the issue with Sean Strickland is that he sucks. He was never that good. I've been saying Sean Strickland was not that guy. I've always thought DDP was the better fighter, even before they fought, which actually is kind of not true. I'm contradicting myself because I did pick Strickland to beat Dricus, but I myself overrated Strickland off the Izzy performance, and I wasn't much of a... Well, actually, no, I kind of was a Dricus believer, but I thought style-wise, because of the Izzy fight, Strickland could beat him. But after that fight, I'm like, you know what? Yeah, Strickland was never really that good. I mean, he gave DDP a tough fight in that first fight, but it was just so obvious to me that going forward for the rematch, I just knew that Dricus du Plessis, of the two, was going to show more evolution. He was going to want it more. He'd have a better mindset. His mentality going in was better, because he wasn't going with the mindset of, oh, I got robbed like Sean Strickland. He came in with the mindset of, I'm here to make a statement, prove a point, and he came in this rematch with more confidence as the champion, not the challenger like the first fight. So he got that champ confidence, the confidence of already beating Strickland, and he knew what he needed to do to get the job done. And when Strickland faced that version of DDP, he didn't know what to do other than be defensive. And this is why Sean Strickland will never beat Dricus du Plessis, even if you argue that he won the first fight. He barely was able to and didn't get the decision, and then lost more convincingly in the rematch because his style, his defensive pitter-patter style, where he fights timid against knockout artists, it's just not going to beat Dricus. If he brawls with DDP is going to get the better end of the brawl because he's more powerful and he'll do more damage, like when he broke his nose. And when he tries to play it technical, Dricus du Plessis is accustomed to dealing with that and winning anyway. But regardless, let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Do you guys think that this is a wake-up call for Strickland and he's going to actually answer the wake-up call and do better, do right by his coach? Or do you think this is the end of Nicksick working with Sean Strickland? Like and subscribe, and peace out.